Howdy y'all, I'll cut to the chase. Even though using new weapons in Destiny 2 in the Edge of Fate will give you a damage buff, there are still some weapons that exist in the game right now that are so good, they'll still be meta in the Edge of Fate, even without getting a damage buff. Today we're gonna go over my entire list of what those weapons are and how to get them. Take note though, this list will only cover legendary weapons, because adding in exotic weapons would make the video way too long. However, if you want another video for exotics only, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know. Okay, we got 16 weapons in total, here we go. Number 16, the VS Chill Inhibitor. Should be no surprise that this weapon is on the list because 1, it is a strong DPS weapon, and 2, it's insanely easy to get. The Chill Inhibitor is a rapid-fire frame grenade launcher, and the role you're looking for is What Else, Envious Arsenal, and Bait and Switch. Dealing damage with both your other weapons before taking out the inhibitor will both auto-refill the mag from reserves and set you up to activate Bait and Switch after your first shot, which will make the rest of your shots all do an extra 30% more damage. If we get a new grenade launcher in the Edge of Fate that can drop with the same role, then obviously use that launcher instead to get the additional 10% damage buff for using a new weapon in the new season. That will soon be a thing. But if we don't get a new GL with that role, Chill Inhibitor will remain an awesome damage dealing option. Remember that if you have fully completed the Vespers Host dungeon just one time, you can actually just go to Banshee at the tower and pick up a free Chill Inhibitor with this exact role. It's basically a gift from Bungie after the whole Waitgate fiasco that happened a while back, but yeah, TLDR. Do the dungeon one time, go to Banshee, and get the god roll. Do it. Number 15, Corrective Measure. There's a lot of pretty damn good machine guns in D2 right now, but if I had to pick just one to recommend to other players, it would probably be Corrective Measure. It has a lot of fun perk options on the table, but it's the only machine gun in the game capable of rolling both destabilizing rounds and one for all together, making it able to blow through entire rooms of people with little to no trouble. The Time Lost Magazine origin trait is also incredibly good, more super energy for free, and then after you use your super, you double your mag size, GG. Remember, it's okay to use heavy weapons for ad clear because you can just change to a DPS loadout when you reach a boss. Not to mention some DPS loadouts straight up have you using special weapons to begin with. You can get the corrective measure by doing the Vault of Glass raid, and remember, it's also craftable. Something to keep in mind for your deep side harmonizers, although don't use them until you've watched the whole video because there are other weapons you could use them on too. Number 14, any 1-2 punch shotgun. I'm keeping this one kind of broad to make sure your farming is a little bit easier. If you've been away from D2 for a really long time or you're out of the loop, 1-2 punch shotguns are used in a unique, very fun DPS strategy where you activate the perk 1-2 punch and then literally just beat the bejesus out of a boss. It is important to know though that Bungie did release a twid not too long ago that mentioned how melee damage buffs are getting reworked in the Edge of Fate. They are now going to be additive instead of multiplicative. Translation, they're tweaking a bunch of things so players in theory won't be able to omega nuke a boss with insane over-the-top melee builds. That being said though, even with these changes, 1-2 punching will still likely be a thing to some degree in the Edge of Fate, so you probably want to have at least one good option to do that. There are many craftable shotguns you can get capable of rolling this perk. I'd say just make sure you have at least one of the following weapons. If you have absolutely none though, you can easily go get a sudden death shotgun from farming the first boss encounter of the Prophecy dungeon. That shotgun can roll with 1-2 punch and trench barrel, which is what I would say you should be on the lookout to get. Number 13, the Call. Spoiler alert, there will be many rocket frame sidearms on today's list, as if you didn't already know, because without a heavy nerf, they will remain incredibly good in basically every PvE activity. They've got good damage output and great ammo economy, to the point where you can pretty much use them as a primary weapon. The Call is your strand-flavored rocket frame sidearm, and the role most players gravitate towards is Lead from Gold in column 3 and either One for All or Vorpal Weapon in column 4. One for All is a great perk that I'm a big fan of, but if you find it too micromanagey to use, you could always just run with Vorpal for a head-empty way to deal an extra 15% damage to bosses and mini-bosses. To get the Call, head to your Ghost over in the Pale Heart, and remember, as long as you have the Deep Sight weapon focusing upgrade purchased, then every reset your first selected weapon will be a guaranteed Deep Sight. That should help you get your crafted version of the Call faster. Number 12, Praedyth's Revenge. Yet another Vault of Glass weapon makes today's list. Praedyth is a sick weapon that falls under the category of backup DPS. If you don't know what that means, then okay, hypothetical scenario. You've entered a DPS phase for a dungeon or a raid, but you're about to run out of ammo with your main damage-dealing heavy weapon. You need backup DPS, with Praedyth being a strong option. With either bait and switch or elemental honing, you can continue to dish out respectable damage even after you've run out of heavy ammo. Bait and switch is good, but remember you do need some heavy ammo left to activate bait and switch on Praedyth, so that role will only help you if you literally finish the mag on your heavy weapon, then swap to Praedyth and start shooting right away. Elemental honing, though, can be taken advantage of even if you've run out of heavy ammo completely. It's a little bit weirder of a perk to proc, but kinetic weapons get a good damage buff from it. You only need to hit a target with 3 different elements in a 20-second window to get the same damage buff that you would with bait and switch, aka 30%. In theory, you can get up to a maximum of 40% extra damage with elemental honing, but that's a bit harder and requires a little extra build crafting. A great perk for Praedyth though, no matter what. For column 3, you could go with Envious Arsenal if you want, but it would probably just be easier to go with 4th times the charm for auto refunded ammo. Just be sure to hit your shots, obviously. To get one, just go ahead and finish up your crafting pattern in the Vault of Glass raid. Go get one today. And you know what else you should grab today? A Starforge PC, sponsor of today's video. Totally nailed it. Starforge's custom build gaming PCs are excellent. They're delivered quickly, and best of all, they come with a 2-year warranty. Are you a gamer on a budget? No problem. They have a wide variety of gaming PCs in different price ranges, so you can look for the PC that suits your needs and budget the most. Not to mention that they have some of the sickest cases and plate lights in the business. That Freerin case, good lord. Anyway, there's actually a summer sale going on right now where you can take off up to $200 on PCs site-wide. Don't wait. Treat yourself to a brand new beast of a gaming machine. Hit up my link in the pinned comment to check them out. Thank you, Starforge. All right, number 11, Indebted Kindness. Yep, another rocket sidearm. I told you there would be more. Indebted Kindness is the arc-flavored rocket sidearm, and like the others, it's very good. The perks you should probably aim to get are Lead from Gold in column 3 for better ammo management, and Volt Shot in column 4 to spread around Jolt, which is always fun and great for crowd control. Indebted Kindness is only mildly annoying to get. It's from the Warlord's Ruin dungeon, but you can get it from farming the first encounter, which isn't really that hard. Number 10, VS Velocity Baton. The Baton is an area denial frame grenade launcher, and if you haven't played D2 in a long while and you don't know what that means, it is basically a legendary wither horde. The Baton is great in PvE, and the role I'm going to recommend is often referred to as, quote, the orb printer by the D2 community at large. Demolitionist in column 3 and Attrition Orbs in column 4. Demolitionist just because it is a strong PvE perk in general, but Attrition Orbs will allow you to use the Baton to truly make a lot of orbs of power for your fire team. Pair together with a Void Siphon Armor mod on your helmet, and your team will literally be tripping over orbs of power in any ad-rich activity you go into. To get the Baton, you gotta farm the Vespers Host dungeon. It will not be as easy as getting the VS Chill inhibitor, which, as we mentioned earlier, you can just go get at the gunsmith after beating the dungeon. You can farm the first encounter of the dungeon, which last time I checked, you can still use the whole out-of-bounds farming method thing I made a video on way back when. Or you can just farm the encounter normally, your choice. Number 9, the Scatter Signal. A rapid-fire frame strand fusion rifle, the Scatter Signal can be used either for backup DPS against a close-range boss, or just deal heavy damage to beefy orange or yellow bars at your discretion. The role most folks go for is Overflow in column 3 and Controlled Burst in column 4. Activating Overflow means you can fire your fusion rifle longer before eventually needing to reload, and Controlled Burst gives you a handy 20% damage output buff for a brief duration. Overall, a very reliable weapon. Because Scatter Signal was a weapon introduced in Season of the Wish, if you don't have one right now, then the only way you can get one is by doing the Star-Crossed Exotic mission. No, the gun is not an exotic, but you can't really run Season of the Wish activities anymore, so yeah, Star-Crossed Exotic mission it is. Good luck with that, and hope you finish the crafting pattern. GG. Number 8, Multi-Mach CCX. The Multi-Mach is a relatively old weapon at this point, but it's still pretty good and one of the better primary weapons in the sandbox in D2 in the event that you're not rocking a double special loadout. The role that the vast majority of players look for is Attrition Orbs in column 3 and Kinetic Tremors in column 4. With those two perks together, you can generate Kinetic Tremors and generate a lot of orbs of power for your team. I'm actually really looking forward to using this Multi-Mach role together with the new armor in Edge of Fate that has the TechSec armor set bonus. If you remember from my video featuring pre-release Edge of Fate footage I was allowed to record board at Bungie makes it so that you can release a disorienting kinetic shockwave. Seems like it would be a really fun pairing. Okay, I have bad news and great news about getting the multi-mock. The bad news is it dropped from Iron Banner and there are no more Iron Banner events between now and the Edge of Fate. But the great news though is, remember earlier I mentioned that Bungie gave the gunsmith a few god rolls to flat out give away to people for free due to the whole Waitgate fiasco? Well, one of those is a multi-mock with attrition orbs and kinetic tremors. I kinda doubt it'll be available after the Edge of Fate, so if you haven't gotten it yet for whatever reason, stop what you're doing, go to Banshee right now and get your free god roll. Number 7, Aberrant Action. Yeah, we're not quite done yet with rocket frame sidearms, boys, so get ready for more. Anyway, Aberrant Action is our solar flavored rocket sidearm, which was originally released during episode Echoes. You can definitely roll with Strategist or Ambitious Assassin in column 3 if you want, but the role that almost everybody goes for is Heel Clip and Incandescent. That way you get a little bit of extra survivability paired together with better crowd control, all on a handy, hard-hitting rocket sidearm. The Aberrant Action can be acquired by doing episode Echoes content, and you can also go talk to Failsafe at the helm and directly focus the weapon through her. And on that note, number 6, Lost Signal. Outside of Aberrant Action, many of the other episode Echoes weapons are extremely forgettable, but one you definitely should go get is the Lost Signal grenade launcher. Like the VS Velocity Baton, it's an area denial frame launcher, so just spit hot fire all over the floor. GG easy crowd control. Go ahead and take your pick between either Lead from Gold and Autoloading Holster in column 3 and Demolitionist or Vorpal weapon in column 4. Either combo you take should be fine, but gun to my head, I'm going with Autoloading Holster and Vorpal weapon. I'm just a big fan of the set it and forget it auto reload vibe. Again, you can get the Lost Signal by doing episode Echoes content, and you can go focus them directly from Failsafe at the helm. Number 5, Rake Angle. We've got some info not too long ago about how glaives are finally going to get damage increases from things like Syntheseps, Knockout, and so on in the Edge of Fate. That all sounds pretty awesome to me, and I think if you get one glaive right now, it should probably be the Rake Angle. I'd say you can take your pick between Overflow or Lead from Gold in the left column and pair that together with either Close to Melee if you're looking for a more melee heavy build, or Chill Clip in the right column. I should point out that Chill Clip is getting a little bit of an indirect nerf in the Edge of Fate. As mentioned in the most recent TWID, Frozen Enemies shattering via stasis is no longer going to stun unstoppable champions starting in July. This does hurt the viability of Chill Clip a little bit, meaning it can only deal with overload champions now. I think it'll still be a rock solid perk moving forward though, so gun to my head, I'm gonna go with Overflow and Chill Clip for the Rake Angle. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Rake Angle will be a featured Nightfall reward weapon between now and the Edge of Fate. Thankfully, you can always go to Commander Zavala at the tower and focus one directly from him. Number 4, Heathen Vengeance. I feel like I don't really need to explain myself a lot here, but for those who might be out of the loop for a long while, Heathen is basically a god tier DPS machine. If you're confident in abusing elemental honing, you can go for that, but the combo that 99.9999999% of players go to for uncomplicated, straightforward DPS is Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. What else? Oh, and don't forget Impact Casing in column 2. Heathen is very straightforward to get. Just run the Vault of Glass raid and be sure to grab the quest thing from Hawthorne for a guaranteed deep sight drop on completion, and then finish the crafting pattern. If you have a bunch of deep sight harmonizers, definitely use them on the Heathen before any other craftable weapon, I would say. It really is that good. Number 3, Tanasha's Mastery. Almost done with the rocket frame sidearms, and the list would of course not be complete without Tanasha. This is our stasis flavored rocket sidearm, and even though it has a lot of interesting perk options available in column 4, the heavy favorite is Chill Clip. Remember a while back when PvE players far and wide were basically glazing the Riptide for being a great utility weapon and one of the best users of Chill Clip in the game? Well, Riptide caught a nerf from Bungie and Tanasha became the new Chill Clip user on the block. Again, Bungie did just nerf the overall viability of Chill Clip, as moving forward it'll only be able to handle overload champions, not overload and unstoppable. However, A, Chill Clip will still be a great utility perk overall, and B, sidearms are getting an unstoppable champion mod in the Edge of Fate anyway, meaning Tanasha for the next half year will still be able to deal with unstoppable champions. And like the multi-mock, it kinda pains me to say this, but Tanasha is only available available in Iron Banner, and as of right now, there is literally no more Iron Banner until September. So if you don't have a Chill Clip Tanasha laying around in your vault, you're kinda out of luck. And hey, before you get mad at me for not getting today's video out sooner, I did put out a YouTube short telling people to grab Tanasha during the final Iron Banner event before Edge of Fate. If you didn't see that short, I am sorry, but that is also why we ring the goddamn bell around these parts, so hit it to avoid future catastrophes like this. Okay, how about a rocket sidearm you can still actually get? Number 2, Lotus Eater. Our final rocket sidearm to go over today is Lotus Eater, our void flavored option and my personal favorite out of all the rocket sidearms. Like the other sidearms, it hits hard, has great ammo economy, and that is why people use rocket sidearms a ton in the current meta. Lotus Eater has a few great options like One for All, Withering Gaze, and Shoot to Loot, but I really love the tried and true role of Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds. That offers you really good ad clear and a little extra survivability. It's a fantastic role on a great gun that I've used a lot ever since I got it, and I recommend it highly. The Lotus Eater is a weapon in the Vanguard loot pool, meaning it's actually focusable via Commander Zavala at the tower, or if you want to run Nightfalls the week of July 1st, Bungie has given us the heads up that it will be the featured weapon that week. Meaning, hey, you can go farm for an adept role if you wish. Number 1, Unloved. With the exception of the Multi-Mach, you might have noticed that every weapon on today's list has either been a heavy or special ammo weapon. That is, until now. Unloved is a strand hand cannon and arguably one of the best primary ammo PvE weapons in the D2 sandbox right now. It's a heavy burst hand cannon, so it hits hard, and it also has some quality weapon perks available. The cherry on top for Unloved, though, comes from the origin trait, Subjugation. Your weapon adapts to targets. When dealing damage to a weak target, shots explode. When dealing damage to a strong target, the target becomes exhausted, aka they deal reduced outgoing damage. In short, we have a very good origin trait that makes an already solid gun extra great. Not to mention that we know the artifact in the Edge of Fate will be relatively strand heavy, so yeah, roll-wise, go for either Hatchling and Frenzy or Dragonfly and Frenzy, both are good. You can get the Unloved hand cannon by running the Sunder Doctrine dungeon. Might I recommend farming the Shrieker encounter to try to get a good roll. And that's it. If you want me to do a follow-up video on the best exotics to have between now and the Edge of Fate, let me know down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.